India has reported 3,17,000 new COVID cases, which is the highest daily tally in 8 months. Now, the daily positivity rate has risen to 16.41% from 15.13%, showing that positivity rate continues to climb quite rapidly. So that's up by about 1%. Let's take a closer look at the national capital. Now, new COVID cases are almost double in Delhi compared to Mumbai. Delhi has reported 12,306 new COVID cases as opposed to Mumbai's 5,708 COVID cases. Delhi has also worryingly reported 43 deaths in 24 hours. That's the highest death figure so far in the third COVID wave, powered mostly by the highly transmissible Omicron variant. Mumbai reported 12 deaths in 24 hours. The positivity rate in Mumbai was at 10.72%. Delhi's positivity rate is almost double that.
दूसरी सर्ज की तुलना में दिल्ली में तीसरी सर्ज के दौरान जो लोग अस्पतालों में भर्ती हो रहे हैं या जिनको अस्पताल में बेड की आवश्यकता पड़ रही है, उनका नंबर बहुत कम है, सिग्निफिकेंटली लोअर। दूसरी सर्ज की तुलना में तीसरी सर्ज में एक्टिव केसेस के मुकाबले होने वाली मृत्यु बहुत सिग्निफिकेंटली घट गई हैं।
प्रिकॉशंस लेनी है, पर्सनल प्रिकॉशंस मास्क के रूप में, सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग के रूप में, और प्रिकॉशंस जो सोशल मेजर्स हैं उनको अपनाना है। इनको कम करने का भी वक्त बिल्कुल नहीं आया है कि इस रिलेटिवली लो मोर्टेलिटी फेज ऑफ पेंडेमिक जो मोस्ट वल्नरेबल है वो हैं जिनको की कोमॉर्बिडिटीज हैं, उम्र में ज़्यादा है। इसलिए फिर विनती है कि प्रिकॉशन डोज लगे।
Now, the Health Ministry has also issued new guidance on management of COVID. Now, the new guidance on children advises against the use of antivirals or monoclonal antibodies on children who are less than 18 years of age, irrespective of the severity of the COVID infection. The guidance adds that masks are not recommended for children aged 5 years and under. Children in the 6 to 11 age group may wear a mask depending on the ability of the child to use a mask safely and appropriately under direct supervision of parents and guardians, says this fresh advisory. All right, let's move on to Maharashtra, which has reported 43,697 COVID cases and 49 deaths. Of that, the Mumbai numbers stood at 5,708 new COVID cases and 12 deaths. The state, however, has decided to reopen all schools from Monday, the 24th of January. That's all grades from primary to class 12 will be allowed to resume in-person classes. However, children can opt for online classes as well.
Mumbai schools are preparing to reopen in as quickly as 4 days. The decision was announced today, not just for the state capital, but the entire state.
Monday 24 से जो है वो स्कूल शुरू हो रहे हैं, पहली से 12वीं तक, और प्री प्राइमरी स्कूल का भी शुरू करने का निर्णय हमने लिया है। लेकिन ये निर्णय लेते वक्त हमने जैसा कहा था पहले भी कि पूरी तरह से SOPs का पालन किया जाएगा।
Average daily cases are at about 44,000, almost 13 times more than at the start of the month. But the Chief Minister has approved the decision at the cabinet meeting held this evening based on the COVID task force's recommendation as numbers have begun to fall. The R number in Maharashtra has fallen almost to the levels it was at the beginning of the third wave. It is currently at 1.07. The R number is a good way of rating coronavirus or any other disease's ability to spread. The state is focusing on increasing the pace of vaccinations too.
15 to 18 का वैक्सीनेशन करने के लिए बिल्कुल बहुत प्रायोरिटी इसको दी गई है। और अभी तो इस सभी स्कूल्स कॉलेजेस बंद होने के नाते थोड़ा उनको ऑर्गेनाइज करके उनको वैक्सीनेशन सेंटर पे लेके आना थोड़े चैलेंजिंग निश्चित तौर पर होता है।
Schools were shut after the Christmas vacation and principals are relieved that this time the closure has been limited to a few weeks.
We have been waiting for this news with bated breath and been wanting to welcome the children back in our midst.
The learning gaps have been tremendous. So the news of reopening the schools is a sign of relief for all of us.
But the happiest are the children themselves.
We are kids who just want to get back to school. Meeting our classmates, our teachers in real life has been so rewarding in November and December 2021. It felt wonderful to be back to that good old classroom atmosphere.
There are a few learning gaps in the online mode of schooling, and we would have to put in an additional work to make up for this loss. Now that physical schools will resume, it will be much easier for me to cope up better with my studies.
Children were thrilled to return to school last year, but the arrival of the Omicron variant and the third wave meant that schools had to revert to online teaching after the Christmas vacation. But to everyone's relief, this time around, the closure has been limited to just a few weeks. In Mumbai, with camera person Sanjay Mandal, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Amid all-time high daily cases in Kerala, the state government has ordered a series of new restrictions, including allowing only essential services on 2 Sundays starting the 23rd of January. The government has announced work from home for mothers with children less than 2 years old, as well as cancer patients or those with other severe illnesses. Strict protocols also have to be followed at shops and retail areas, malls, theme parks, beaches and other tourist spots. Districts have been divided into 3 categories based on severity. Currently, the state capital, Thiruvananthapuram, Palakkad, Idukki and Wayanad are in category B, where no social, cultural, political, religious or public meetings are being allowed, and religious worship can be held only online. A maximum of 20 people can attend weddings and funerals. Ernakulam, Kollam and Alapura are in category A, where a maximum of 50 people can attend social, cultural, religious and other public functions. No district has been identified as category C, where stricter regulations are being enforced. All right, let's get you the latest really on a special report on the struggle to get compensation for COVID deaths. Many families don't know what they can do once an appeal is rejected. There should be proactive measures from state governments to help such beneficiaries. Neha Mary Koshi with that report.
Supriya's 75-year-old father was in hospital for 28 days after testing positive for COVID. 8 days after being discharged, he died at home. But the family's claim for compensation for 50,000 rupees has been rejected, stating the death happened at home and after the father was negative.
COVID-19 ലിസ്റ്റിൽ പേര് ഉൾപ്പെടുത്താനായിട്ട് അക്ഷയയിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയി അപ്പീൽ കൊടുത്തു ഈ മാസം 14-ാം തീയതി അപ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് മെസ്സേജ് വരുന്നത് അത് റിജക്റ്റ് ചെയ്തോന്നു. അതിന് റീസൺ പറയുന്നത് ഹോം ഡെത്ത് എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്.
The top court has wrapped states including Kerala for insensitivity, asking why wait for petitioners instead of taking initiative to reach out to them. That would have made it far easier for people like 18-year-old Fatima, solely dependent on her grandparents, but her 80-year-old grandfather died in the hospital with COVID in May. She went to claim compensation to the local Akshaya center but was told the internet is down. Back in school, the class 12 student hasn't managed to go again.
വിളിച്ചപ്പോൾ അവർ ഒന്ന് കൊണ്ടുപോയി ഹോസ്പിറ്റലിൽ. പിന്നെ 3 ദിവസം കഴിഞ്ഞപ്പോൾ പറഞ്ഞത് മരിച്ചെന്നാണ്. പിന്നെ ഈ ഡെത്ത് സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് ഒക്കെ മേടിച്ച് അക്ഷയയിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോയപ്പം ഈ പൈസ കൊടുക്കുമെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് കൊണ്ടുപോയപ്പോൾ അവർ പറഞ്ഞു സൈറ്റ് കിട്ടുന്നില്ലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു.
Kerala government has received 27,000 petitions for compensation, although the total number of COVID deaths is well over 51,000. Despite the top court's tough words, the government says the process may take time.
Cases have been recorded and the deaths have been recorded properly, but the amount of applications are less. Most of the deaths in Kerala have been actually declared late, because many were backlog deaths which were cleared later, and for them to really get to know that they have been included in the list and then to apply and for the papers to be processed and so on will take time. It will not be difficult to really find out every single person and record them and give them the benefits.
Losing a family member to COVID is in itself traumatic, and this pandemic has been making life harder for ordinary people. Amid all this,
for state governments to reach out to possible beneficiaries for compensation is only going to go a long way. With camera person SP Babu, Sneha Koshi for NDTV.
Our other big story this morning, the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame at the India Gate is going to be extinguished after burning constantly for 50 long years. It's going to be merged, in fact, with the flame at the National War Memorial with an appropriate military ceremony that will take place this afternoon. Arvind joining us at this point. Arvind, already a lot of opposition to this move. The Amar Jawan Jyoti, constructed as a memorial for Indian soldiers who were killed in the 1971 war. Obviously this is a very emotional symbol and emblem for many. Arvind?
Yeah, Ankita, in a ceremony today, the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame, which is in India Gate lawn, would be extinguished and it would be merged with the flame at the National War Memorial. So this particular ceremony will be carried out by the Integrated Defence Staff Chief Air Marshal Radhakrishnan, and this will be done with a complete defence protocol. So we all know that this India Gate Memorial was built by the British government in memory of British Indian soldiers who lost their lives between 1914 and 1921. Subsequently, the National War Memorial has also been built by this particular government in 2019. So according to the government sources, because there are two flames and also the recent protocol of dress laying has also been shifted from Amar Jawan Jyoti flame to the National War Memorial. So the government is saying that this is in accordance with the recent changes, and that's why the flame at the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame at India Gate launch would be extinguished and it will be merged with the National War Memorial. So from now on, all the military protocol and all the wrestling, everything will be carried out only at National War Memorial. And also as a part of that, today the flame at Amar Jawan Jyoti flame at the India Gate would be extinguished and it would be merged with the flame at the National War Memorial.
Right. Thanks very much indeed, Arvind, for joining us with those latest details. When we come back in a moment, the news from all 5 poll-bound states. The BJP does not give a ticket to Manohar Parrikar's son, gives it to his arch-rival instead. We get you details in a moment. Samajwadi leader Akhilesh Yadav is likely to contest next month's Uttar Pradesh election from the Karhal seat in Mainpuri, which is the Yadav family's stronghold, according to party sources. Karhal has voted for a Samajwadi candidate in every election since 1993, except for the 5 years between 2002 and 2007, when the BJP had flipped the seat. Congress leaders Rahul and Priyanka Gandhi will be releasing the party's Youth Manifesto for the Uttar Pradesh Assembly elections at noon today. They will address a special press conference at the party headquarters in Delhi. This is one of the rare occasions when both leaders of the Congress party will be jointly addressing the media. The Congress is going to the UP polls with youth and women as the big focus. They've already announced that they will reserve 40% of tickets for women in UP. The BJP has announced 34 candidates in its first list for Goa, but a big name was missing. Utpal Parrikar, the son of former Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar, a party veteran who passed away. The BJP said they had given Utpal Parrikar multiple options. They expect him not to take a ticket that's been offered to him by the Aam Aadmi Party.
In the BJP's Goa list, 34 names, but not of Utpal Parrikar, son of the Goa BJP icon, the late Manohar Parrikar. Utpal had publicly claimed he would like to contest from the Panjim seat, his father's bastion. But instead, the BJP has given the seat to Babush Montserrat, the Panjim MLA, who had crossed over from the Congress, someone who has faced multiple charges, including of rape. Utpal says he may still go ahead and contest from Panjim and will make his position clear in a few days. The Shiv Sena had said that if Utpal contests, all non-BJP parties should back him. A BJP minister defended the choice, advising Utpal not to contest.
My personal advice to Shri Utpal Parrikar would be that his father built the BJP. Don't rebel against the BJP. Babush Mansarat, who has already got a ticket for Panjim constituency, has done a lot of work in Panjim. They all elected Babush Mansarat because they found that he was doing good work. I also was Pratap Singh Rane, one of the longest serving chief minister in the state of Goa's son, but nobody gave anything to me at a platter.
That at least in Goa, from the ticket distribution, it seems no party really can say that we don't believe in family politics. Whether it's the BJP, which has given two husband-wife couples tickets. One is Vishwajit Rane and his wife. And his wife, of course, takes on his father, Pratap Singh Rane, who's contesting on a Congress ticket. Then you have Jennifer and Babush Mansarat. Babush Mansarat, of course, getting the Panji ticket.
When asked, Vishwajit Rane claims he had no say in his wife's selection, even though she is a first-timer.
I have not made any recommendation or given any names or anything that I want a particular person to be given a ticket.
He was also non-committal when asked if his father would back out of a family fight. I don't know how things will unfold in the days to come, he said. An NDTV bureau report.
Kerala has reported an all-time high in daily cases, and the state government has ordered a series of new restrictions, including allowing only essential services on 2 Sundays starting the 23rd of January. The government has also announced work from home for mothers who have children who are less than 2 years old, as well as cancer patients and those with other serious illnesses. Strict protocols will also be followed at shops, malls, theme parks, beaches and other tourist spots. The Amar Jawan Jyoti's flame at India Gate will be extinguished after 50 long years after it is merged with the flame at the National War Memorial with an appropriate military ceremony. The Amar Jawan Jyoti was constructed as a memorial for Indian soldiers who were killed in action in the 1971 India-Pakistan war, which India won. Now, Arvind joining us with the latest on that story. Arvind, already a lot of people objecting to this move. It seems government sources are indicating it was just difficult to keep the upkeep up of these two separate flames, one at the National War Memorial, one at the India Gate. What's the latest on all of this?
Ankita, the eternal Amar Jawan Jyoti flame at the India Gate launch today would be extinguished after 50 years, and then it would be merged with the flame, National War Memorial flame. So this particular ceremony has been scheduled around 3 p.m. where it would be presided over by the Integrated Defence Staff Chief Air Marshal Balabhadra Radhakrishna. So what is the government saying? Government is saying that this particular, the India Gate Memorial, which was set up at the India Gate launch, was actually set up by the British government in memory of all those British Indian Army soldiers who lost their lives between 1914 to 1921. Though this India Gate Memorial was set up early in 1910 to 1920 itself, but the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame was actually set up in the year 1971 after India won over Pakistan in that war, and the 93,000 of enemy soldiers who surrendered to the Indian Army. So this was set up in 1970, the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame in memory of India's victory over Pakistan. But now the government is saying that a new war memorial has been set up at around 2019, where it has all the soldiers' names from 1947 till the Galwan clash. So government is saying that because there is already one National War Memorial where there is an eternal flame, it would be appropriate for the eternal flame from the Amar Jawan Jyoti flame to be merged with the National War Memorial, because all the ceremony are currently taking place at the National War Memorial and it's not taking place at the Amar Jawan Jyoti. And that's why the government is saying that as per the military procedure and as with the full military ceremony, this particular eternal flame from the Amar Jawan Jyoti will be merged with the National War Memorial today around 3 p.m. It will be presided over by the Integrated Defence Staff.
All right, Arvind, thanks very much. And of course, we'll continue to get you all the latest on that big story. For the moment, in news just coming in, 3,47,254 new COVID cases recorded across India in the last 24 hours. And the daily positivity rate has now climbed up to 17.94%. Let's go across to Meher Pandey joining us with the latest on that. Meher, take us through those numbers.
Yes, Ankita. So India's COVID cases are rising once again. Once again, we have crossed 3 lakh cases. Yesterday it was around 3.17. Now we are at 3.47 lakh cases in the last 24 hours. Positivity has also climbed up. It's almost at 18% now. So this is because testing has increased again. Remember, there was a change in strategy at one point where the ICMR recommended that asymptomatic individuals do not get tested anymore, and testing had dropped significantly at that point. But since then, they have now changed and said that districts that are reporting high positivity should increase their testing. And it is actually a lot of districts reporting high positivity. Yesterday, the ministry shared some data on this. From 335 districts reporting weekly positivity of over 5%, it's actually now increased to 515 districts reporting a weekly positivity of over 5%. So there are actually a lot of districts across India that are showing an increase. There are some urban areas, especially Mumbai of note, that are showing a decrease in positivity, a genuine decrease in cases. But other places like Bengaluru, Pune, and also smaller towns and villages are showing an increase in cases and positivity. So the thing with the Omicron wave is that it is now going to be more localized. We've seen peaks and troughs nationally so far, but this time epidemiologists say that it will look more like a plateau because peaks and troughs will occur more locally. Already in Mumbai, we are seeing a fall in cases, and this will occur across the country in different places. So that's what's different about this wave. One other thing we can be optimistic about is that hospitalization is much lower compared to the second wave, but cases are climbing very, very fast.
All right. Meher, thanks very much indeed for joining us with those latest details. On to news from the 5 poll-bound states, and Uttar Pradesh first. Samajwadi chief Akhilesh Yadav is likely to contest next month's UP election from the Karhal seat in Mainpuri, which is the Yadav family's stronghold, say party sources. Karhal has voted for a Samajwadi candidate in every election since 1993, except for the 5 years between 2002 and 2007 when the BJP had flipped that seat. Meanwhile, Congress leaders Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra will be releasing the party's Youth Manifesto for the UP Assembly elections. The leaders will address a special press conference at the party headquarters. This is one of the rare occasions when both leaders will be jointly addressing the media. The party is going to the polls with youth and women in focus and has announced that it will reserve 40% of tickets for women in UP. The BJP on Thursday announced 34 candidates in its first list for Goa, but a big name was missing, Utpal Parrikar, the son of former Chief Minister Manohar Parrikar. The BJP has said that they've given Utpal several other options. They expect him not to take the ticket that's been offered to him by the Aam Aadmi Party.
In the BJP's Goa list, 34 names, but not of Utpal Parrikar, son of the Goa BJP icon, the late Manohar Parrikar. Utpal had publicly claimed he would like to contest from the Panjim seat, his father's bastion. But instead, the BJP has given the seat to Babush Monserrat, the Panjim MLA, who had crossed over from the Congress, someone who has faced multiple charges, including of rape. Utpal says he may still go ahead and contest from Panjim and will make his position clear in a few days. The Shiv Sena had said that if Utpal contests, all non-BJP parties should back him. A BJP minister defended the choice, advising Utpal not to contest.
My personal advice to Shri Utpal Parrikar would be that his father built the BJP. Don't rebel against the BJP. Babush Monserrat, who has already got a ticket for Panjim constituency, has done a lot of work in Panjim. They all elected Babush Monserrat because they found that he was doing good work. I also was Pratap Singh Rane, one of the longest serving chief minister in the state of Goa's son, but nobody gave anything to me at a platter.
That at least in Goa, from the ticket distribution, it seems no party really can say that we don't believe in family politics. Whether it's the BJP, which has given 2 husband-wife couples tickets. One is Vishwajit Rane and his wife. And his wife, of course, takes on his father, Pratap Singh Rane, who's contesting on a Congress ticket. Then you have Jennifer and Babush Monserrat. Babush Monserrat, of course, getting the Panji ticket.
When asked, Vishwajit Rane claims he had no say in his wife's selection, even though she is a first-timer.
I have not made any recommendation or given any names or anything that I want a particular person to be given a ticket.
He was also non-committal when asked if his father would back out of a family fight. I don't know how things will unfold in the days to come, he said. An NDTV Bureau report.
Time for a very quick break. Coming up next, what the Manipur Chief Minister now feels about AFSPA. More details in a moment. The nearly 3-week-long standoff between a government college in Karnataka's Udupi district and a handful of Muslim students who want to wear a hijab during classes has escalated after there were protests at the college gates with students holding placards and raising slogans. Let's take a look.
It's day 21 for the 8 students who have been barred from attending the classes with a hijab. Today was no different for these students of first and second year. The protesting students in the age group of 15 and 16 were made to wait on the ground after the college principal gave them an ultimatum to attend the class without a hijab.
Hijab is our right and constitution is giving us that right. तो ये गवर्नमेंट गर्ल्स कॉलेज क्यों नहीं दे रहा?
हमें हिजाब के साथ क्लास में नहीं बैठ सकते, इसलिए हमें 15-20 days बाहर है. So please, I want justice.
But reacting to the hijab row, Karnataka Education Minister B.C. Nagesh said wearing a hijab amounted to indiscipline. Although the Indian Constitution guarantees Muslim women their religious right to wear hijab guaranteed under Article 25 of Clause 1.
They want to practice constitutional rights now? Do you want our schools to be the center of Dharmic Kendra, should become Dharmic Kendras? School is not a place to practice their dharma.
Reacting to Education Minister's charge that the students are politicizing the issue ahead of next year's election, the students say they were forced to seek support from Campus Front of India, a student union affiliated to Popular Front of India.
We are not influenced by them, we are not part of them, they are just helping us.
Education or hijab? This is the ultimatum given by the college administration to the students who are protesting. They also tell us they will continue on their protests inside the college premises until they are allowed to wear a hijab while attending the class. In Udupi, with camera person Govind Murthy, Shrija for NDTV.
Time for a quick break. Up next, our big focus this morning, growing outrage over the government's plans to put out the Amar Jawan Jyoti, the eternal flame at the India Gate, after its flame will be merged with the one at the National War Memorial. That ceremony planned this afternoon, but hundreds upon hundreds of people already speaking up about this. We get you more details in a moment. The Amar Jawan Jyoti flame at the India Gate is going to be extinguished today to be merged with the flame at the National War Memorial in a ceremony this afternoon. The Amar Jawan Jyoti was constructed as a memorial for Indian soldiers who were killed in action in the 1971 Indo-Pak War, which India won, leading to the creation of Bangladesh, and it had been inaugurated by then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. So why this move? Many people now questioning why heritage is being wiped out, why a tradition that bears so much emotional significance to so many is now going to come to an end after 50 long years. Joining us on the show now, Geeta Bhatt, who supports the move, Tehseen Poonawala, who is opposing the move. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Geeta Bhatt, let me begin by asking you, this is literally the eternal flame, the Amar Jawan Jyoti. Why should it be put out at all? It's a wonderful idea to merge it with the National War Memorial flame. That flame should indeed be drawn from it. Why can't we have both?
Well, Ankita, you see, before 2019, we did not have a single war memorial across the country which represented, the sacrifices that have been made by thousands of Indian soldiers in protecting the sovereignty of the country through the various, conflicts and wars which took place post 1947. So when 2019, the National War Memorial, when it was established and inaugurated, where the names of all the soldiers, all the unsung heroes, since 1947, when the time when Pakistan, through Kashmir had, via the Kabalis, had attacked India.
I absolutely take your point about the National War Memorial. That's not my question. That can indeed be.
Ankita ji, I'm coming to that.
Okay.
So the point is that, the National War Memorial has got inscripted the names of all the more than 26,000 soldiers, their names have been, inscripted over there. And along with this, when the question of definitely there is a lot of respect across the country for the flame which has been burning at the India Gate since 1972. Now the question was that already there is a flame which has been put up in the National War Memorial where there are various, Amar flames from across the country.
But that's exactly my question, Geeta Bhatt. Why not have both?
You see, the question is that, Ankita ji, when we are talking about representing a single war memorial which is representing throughout the country, it is a symbol of national integration. So there is no harm in having a single flame which is representing across the various states, people representing India who have together gone out on wars and fought for the national security of the country, for the sovereignty of the country. I mean, there is no harm in having a single flame which is representing. Till now, it was. And we also know that in India
there's no harm already
of the soldiers who had died in the First World War and in the Afghan War, Indo-Afghan War. So even the names are till 2019, the name of so many soldiers who had died it was not put on any one place. So it is kind of having a place, an integrated place, which is totally dedicated to all those who have given their
Geeta,
lives.
but honestly, I still don't have an answer to my question. Why the two flames cannot coexist, or why, how much more expensive is it going to be for the government to have to maintain two flames? Because this is clearly so emotional for so many people. Tehseen Poonawala, your thoughts to what you've just heard from Geeta Bhatt.
Good morning, Ankita, to you, to Geeta Bhatt ji, and to all your viewers. At the onset, I want to tell your viewers that Ms. Bhatt is perhaps misinformed or misleading when she said that until 2019, we did not have a single war memorial in India. She just needs to come with me to either Pune, Bangalore, Dras or Amritsar. There were more memorials. In fact, in Pune, the war memorial called the National War Memorial. This is just to clarify this. Now, second point, you're right, Ankita. For example, the Commonwealth Graves Commission maintains graves all across the world. They don't say, let's combine the sand or the mud from everywhere and build one grave. The fact of the matter was that today, what we're going to do is absolutely brazen, shameless, and it will consign our pre-independence military history to the pages of history and will completely extinguish it, because a lot of people connect with with India Gate, with the Amar Jawan flame out there. And I don't understand that India that aspires to be a superpower, why can't it have two flames running? Of course, take the flame from the Amar Jawan and put it at the National War Memorial. But why would you extinguish one flame? Nobody can answer it. There is no satisfactory answer for it. And once again, I want to tell your viewers, stop misleading the country. There are several war memorials, including the National War Memorial in Pune, about 3 kilometers away from my house where I'm sitting right now.
All right. I want to take this, Geeta Bhatt, I'll come back to you in a moment. But I also want to take this across now to Lieutenant General Sanjay Kulkarni, retired, who's joining us on the phone line at this point. It'll be interesting to see, what the armed forces thinks of this. Lieutenant General Kulkarni, do you believe that it's all right to have the one National War Memorial and the one flame there? Or, are we really doing away with something that's been an intrinsic part of our heritage for the last 50 years?
What happens, Ankita, first and foremost, it is not extinguishing the flame. Let's be very clear about it. It's relocating it. So if you understand extinguishing and relocation, it's being relocated.
Right.
Just
Lieutenant General Kulkarni, let's not quibble about words. As far as my understanding goes, yes, that flame is certainly going to be merged with the one that's already there at the National War Memorial. Right. But also it does mean that the one at the Amar Jawan Jyoti is no longer going to be lit. So in a sense, that is extinguishing.
See, Ankita, most of you are born much later, 72. I have driven through India Gate number of times. There was no flame till 1972. Well, isn't it? We've all fought 47 war. We got Paramveer Chakras there. We have fought 62, 65. All this came after we won against Pakistan, and Pakistan had 93,000 PWs that we returned over there. So the real victory that came in 71, so the Amar Jawan Jyoti came as one, and we had nothing of that kind. So India Gate was a beautiful memorial, which was obviously the name on which I inscribed for those dedicated for the First World War. But now to say, let's not attach too much, have to, and again I say, there are so many memorials across the country, but National War Memorial is one. You could have names of anywhere and everywhere, but the National War Memorial is one. That is the one close to the India Gate, which has been constructed in 2019, and it would be always better. We can have so many flames. Where's the problem? Flames can be a number of them. That's not the problem. The problem is it's a National War Memorial. We must have one flame dedicated to all those who sacrificed their lives post-1947 independence of India. That's it. Before that, there are many memorials. The one in India Gate is Afghan War, First World War, Second World War. We have so many Commonwealth. So let's not, I don't think it should be an issue of controversy, opposition for the sake of opposing it. I don't think it's worth it. It is, of course, why not? So many things have gone. But have you ever driven from India Gate? I have. Times. I've driven through and through. There was there was no Amar Jawan Jyoti there. But once the Amar Jawan Jyoti came under the India Gate, we all had tremendous respect for it. But now that it has been relocated at a place where the National War Memorial desired for years has come up, then so I don't think, let's not attach too much of this thing to it. I think it's a good thing, no problem.
All right. Lieutenant General Kulkarni, thank you for joining us with that view. Tehseen Poonawalla, you've just heard, and this is a retired member of the armed forces who clearly feels that the National War Memorial is a more appropriate venue for this flame. Your thoughts?
Look, in 2019, when the National War Memorial was inaugurated by the Honorable Prime Minister, a decision was taken by the armed forces that the Amar Jyoti would always light and it would never be extinguished. This was a decision taken. How did the Prime Minister overtake this, overriding the military? Militaries and armies take their history, their past history, extremely seriously. I'm not opposing that the flame be taken from here into the National War Memorial. But when you extinguish this flame and you say, okay, the flame is gone there, you are belittling the sacrifices of those who fought the 1971 war, liberated Bangladesh. Do you know, for the first time in the history of the world, no history, pre or a modern history, has a country been created in 13 days as India created Bangladesh? We are belittling our own history. Are we telling India that's aspiring to be a superpower cannot maintain two flames a few kilometers away from each other? Not even a few kilometers, a few meters from each other? Is that the India we aspire to be? Ask yourselves these questions.
Lieutenant General Raj Kadian, retired, is also on the phone line with us. Lieutenant General Kadian, your thoughts on this?
The martyrdom is martyrdom. Its quality cannot be judged or compared to any period in history. A man who died in 1914 or 42 was as important as a soldier who sacrificed his life in 47. So the entire complex will be treated as one government body. There is no proximity. It does not mean that we are denigrating the old martyrs. Their names are there. I think the names are also replicated in the new National War Memorial. I think today's sentiments, if you want to inspire the youth by the martyrdom of our soldiers, the word national is more important than calling it India Gate. India was specific to the British time. So that is a matter of semantics. The entire complex is one war memorial where people need to visit. The newer complex is much more easily accessible to public. The question now is, where should you locate the flame? Firstly, it is pointless to have two flames. So this flame, which started in 1972, which was below the India Gate canopy, is being shifted to another place in the entire complex. And so there should be no need to read any politics into it when it was made by which party was in power. That is fortunate. That is in fact insulting the martyrdom. A soldier who died in, as I said, First World War was as important. His life was as important.
Right. All right. Lieutenant General Raj Kadian also of the view that, this is not something that should become a source of a political debate. Many, however, feel otherwise. Many wonder whether it's a question of, which political party or which leader was associated with that. Geeta Bhatt, quick last word. I have to wrap this up.
Yeah. Ankita ji, I just wanted to add is that as far as the Tehseen ji was saying, the Pune National War Memorial, and there are many such war memorials that was basically made by the citizens of Pune, not by the government of Maharashtra. And secondly, all the Swarnim Vijay flames from across many such war memorials which are in the country has already been brought and merged with the flame, which now will be the eternal flame at the National War Memorial. So this information, correct information should also be given. And we have seen that all the army veterans, those who have spoken on your channel, they have wholeheartedly come out and supported this move. So even those who are from the forces, they are also in agreement to this, that let there be one, integrated eternal flame. That does not mean that the other flames which are there, other memorials are there, their flames are being extinguished.
Yes, we hope. I want to make that point.
I just want to clarify.
All right. Yeah. Tehseen, I have to wrap this up very quickly.
Just 5 seconds. The National War Memorial in Pune was built by the government of India on cantonment land, defense land. It was budgeted. Please don't come and mislead people. It is unbelievable that these misleading
we leave it at that. This is not about the Pune War Memorial. This is about the Amar Jawan Jyoti and the fact that it's no longer going to be there after this afternoon. Something that there's clearly divided opinion on. A lot of people questioning it even now. Geeta Bhatt, Tehseen Poonawala, thanks very much indeed for joining us on Good Morning India. We'll take a quick break. More coming up.